The petty cash fund is simply an amount of cash kept on hand physically in store or in an office for minor expenditures such as office supplies and other small payments. It can often be found in cash drawers, cash boxes, or in some cases in retail in the tills. Petty cash is used when check payments are either unaccepted altogether or burdensome, where it's impractical to use check on such small payments. It's used mainly for small in-house payments, for example, office supplies and postage costs. Petty cash funds exist in all companies, and regardless of their varying sizes and influence, for example, startup corner shops to worldwide department stores such as David Jones and Myers, the operation of a petty cash fund process is always the same. The steps followed to set up and maintain a petty cash fund are to 1. Establish the fund, 2. Make payments from the fund, and 3. Replenish the fund. It is often asked actually how much is in a petty cash fund, and it actually varies by organization. It depends on many factors. For example, some companies need more cash on hand if they're often dealing with deliveries and postage costs. However, the amount usually ranges from $50 to $1,000, but can be more or less. Once the company has decided on the amount that they wish to put in the petty cash fund, a check is written for this amount. This check has then to be cashed in, and the cash is then placed under the care of an employee designated as the custodian. For example, though, this could be a duty manager or supervisor on shift or a general manager. Cash can be taken from the fund to make in-house payments, for example, office supplies, or employees can reimburse from the fund for payments made personally. For example, if a restaurant has run out of bread and on their way to their shift an employee buys bread for the restaurant, this money, as long as they have the receipt, will be reimbursed from the petty cash fund. When the cash in the fund is decreasing, the fund must then be replenished. And the company does this by 1, counting the cash, and 2, then cashing a check for this amount counted that brings the total back to the original balance. In some cases, if the wrong change has been given in-house or receipts unobtained, it results in a discrepancy between the cash needed for replenishment and the amount of receipts. In such cases, this discrepancy is charged to an account called cash over short, this being a temporary account. A few notes, however, it is pivotal that receipts are always obtained in order for correct recording and, importantly, so that employees can be reimbursed correctly. Also, when a petty cash fund is replenished, the amount of cash needed for replenishment should always equal the total amount of receipts. And lastly, as is often misunderstood, a petty cash fund does not indicate a change in assets. After this video, I really hope that you understand petty cash more. It is simple once you put your head down and you debunk some of the processes. Otherwise, it should be a pretty easy concept to wrap your head around.